Hello, and welcome to Adulthood as a Project, the show where two sisters discuss the lessons learned and growth earned through the realities of life. I'm Charlie, and this is my sister Casey, and we are your hosts.
In today's episode, we're discussing movies that shaped our childhood. We will talk about our favorite movies from our childhood and give you our thoughts on why we think it's a good thing to have some favorites of your own. Let's get started.
Well, for starters, we should probably just say it, right?
Yep, let's just go ahead and get it out of the way now.
It's Top Gun, hands down.
It is Top Gun.
Our top movie. Man, we were kids when it came out, right? So our mom was taking our older sister to watch Peggy Sue Got Married, and she thought that we were too young to watch it. So for whatever reason, we were sent with our dad to go watch Top Gun. And that choice our mom made for sure shaped our childhood. Which I just have to say, we definitely got the better end of the deal for the movie split up there, for sure.
Oh, indeed. I mean, Peggy Sue Got Married? No.
Boring. Yeah, no thanks. Dude, and I can still remember hearing the line, "Mother Goose, you pussy," in the theater. And one of us was like to our dad, "What's a pussy?" And immediately he shushed us. And we just knew not to talk through the rest of it.
I also remember the first time I screamed, "Mother Goose, you pussy!" in front of Mom. She was not as impressed as I had previously anticipated her being. I thought she was going to be really excited that I was saying it because she wanted me to go see that movie so bad, obviously.
Right?
I can't say 100%, but I'm pretty sure that that was, for both of us, it was the first time in a movie theater, and it's so crazy to me how much it stuck in our brains. You know, just it just stuck in our heads, and I'm sure
Oh,
our
it
dad.
really did.
Oh yeah, you know, Dad was pissed that he had to take us.
Yes. Probably was hoping we would fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, I will say he was always so good at once a movie or something was on that he enjoyed, he could tune anything out. I don't even know if he knew we were there at that point.
Probably not. And at some point, we must have found the movie just as thrilling enough to stay awake. So we stayed awake for the whole movie. But yeah, he could easily tune us out for sure.
Yeah. You know, I do remember about that first time in the theater. I mostly remember just, it's weird. I can remember crawling around on the floor, probably honestly at that age eating popcorn or something off of it because
Oh my God, probably.
I'm sure we were gross like that.
We were like, what, 4 and 5 or something? Like we knew any better.
And our dad certainly wasn't going to be correcting us.
We were just building our immune system.
Exactly. I just remember kind of being on the floor. We weren't sitting in chairs yet. And we would just kind of look up and see the airplanes every once in a while. But then I think eventually we did get in those chairs and just get zoned in on that movie.
We did. And it cracks me up now, to think about that. Like, how did we get that enthralled in it? But we seriously did. Because, yeah, at some point we did get in those chairs, quit playing around on the floor, and started watching it. And I don't know. It was so good. And then it was just a rerun on TNT or TBS in our like late teens or something that it was always on TV. We could catch it.
Yeah. Well, and we did have the VHS when we were kids.
Oh, and we had the soundtrack. Remember having the soundtrack tape? We could pop in, get a little Danger Zone going. Anytime we wanted to do something crazy.
Yes. Yes. I feel like we have to tell our listeners that we went to San Diego this past summer, and we went to the
Yes.
bar from Top Gun. We went and did that together.
Yeah, the Kansas City barbecue.
Yeah, which
Reenacted a scene or two.
perhaps we did.
There may have been a few drinks involved, but whatever. I don't think we would have needed the drinks to do what we were doing. We were so like, yes!
we were definitely very excited about the situation. And then
yes,
recently,
for sure.
Recently Sonny Boy got he got a little, they call it liberty, where he was allowed to leave the base for a little bit, and he went to the Top Gun house, and he called me and video walked me through it. I was so excited.
I was so jealous. I'm like, I still want to go back there just to walk through it and check it out because I haven't even done that yet. I'm like, okay, I need to plan another trip.
Yeah. Well, he said it was totally free to go to.
It.
And then
that's
he
awesome.
sent me
Even
he
better.
sent me a picture of him sitting on Maverick's motorcycle, which I'm like, oh my goodness.
Like, wait, we can sit on the motorcycle too?
I know.
Peanut butter, lose me forever.
Yes.
Show me the way home, honey.
I think I will say we'll be reenacting whenever we can get on that motorcycle.
And we're gonna have to take turns being Maverick. Oh man, it's like we when Maverick came out in theaters, Top Gun 2, we waited until we could be together to go see it for the first time because we can remember this one first time in a movie theater, it being Top Gun, that we're like, there's no way we can watch the second without being with each other to watch it. So we went as a whole family.
Oh, we did. We did go as a whole family. And, I remember, though, when the movie came out, and so many of my friends had already seen it, and they were calling me and saying, hey, I went and watched it. I had to call you. And I was like, don't say anything. I haven't gone yet.
I know.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it was. I bought the tickets online, and I was distracted while I was buying the tickets online because I was on my phone, and we were trying to get through Costco, and I saw these other 2 chairs. So I'm like, I don't remember exactly, but I think we were buying 8 tickets, and so I could get like 5 together or 6 together and 2 in another spot. So I got the 2 in the other spot, and we get to the movie theater. I had bought a handicap seat, so
none of us are handicapped.
And I mean wheelchair, like you needed a wheelchair. I just thought the seat meant it was wheelchair accessible for some reason. So then we had to scramble to find a seat for our mom. Take it up. It was a hot mess. But we got it figured out. We all got it figured out, and we all got to watch the movie together. So it was good.
That was a good time.
Yeah. So now that we got that out in the open, and we will reference Top Gun on probably a regular basis because it is obviously our top one.
It is, yes.
We're gonna go through a few more of our movies that we watched over and over as kids.
Yeah. So I would tell you, Dirty Dancing is my number one, right? Because nobody puts a baby in a corner.
Yes.
And oh man, and then there was Johnny, and he was just the bad boy I needed in my 7-year-old life.
Right. Man. I mean, I feel like we're too young to have found someone attractive, but hello, Johnny.
Oh, I know.
I know.
Johnny.
And then we spent years off and on trying to perfect that lift scene together. I cannot say that we ever nailed it, but it sure makes me laugh when I remember all those times Casey'd be running at me, and then I'd be getting all scared at the last minute, and I'd drop her, so I'd puss out, and we usually end up just falling on the floor altogether. I don't think our older sister ever participated in that game with us, but we definitely tried multiple times.
We did. And I mean, I'm going to go ahead and admit that there's been a few nights in our adulthood of playing the same game where I try to jump at you and see if you can do the lift scene. I
Yes.
I know that there's probably been a few drinks involved when that happens, but
Yeah, and I love that to this day you have faith that I'm gonna figure it out and lift you.
I do think you're going to figure it out someday.
Someday, damn it.
You're my big, strong Johnny. Figure it out. Well,
Oh man, I know.
This is on movie topic, but I have you seen, oh, I can't think of the name of the movie. It has Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling in it. And it's maybe
Oh,
Crazy
okay.
Stupid Love.
Yes, that is the name of it.
And his whole thing when he's picking up that girl, and he tells her his move is, he says he can do the lift scene from Dirty Dancing. And I'm like, that would for sure
That's
get me.
awesome. That was right. I don't remember that scene, but that was now I need to go rewatch that movie because that would get me. If someone's like, I can do that, I'd be like, I'm in. Duh.
Exactly.
Practicing that dance.
I was born for this moment.
You're like, what? I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Yes.
Finally, someone that's going to step up and take it on.
Yes. Oh. And then let's see, there was Grease 2, and yeah, I mean we know that most people love Grease 1, but for some reason, we didn't know about it, and we saw Grease 2 first.
Oh, like I have no idea how we ever saw Grease 2 first, but I didn't even know there was a Grease 1 until I was probably in my late 20s or something. I just assumed they called it 2 because they were in high school and not elementary school. So I didn't even understand it. And I was like, people are like, why did you think it was called Grease 2? Like, how did you not know there was a Grease 1? I'm like, why would I have known there was a Grease 1? Never shown to me. And we used to get in fights over who could be Stephanie. So we, in our childhood, would take turns in movies being the characters.
Yes.
And this one, Grease 2, man, we would watch this one all time. And all three of us, we would take turns being certain characters, which meant that you got to do their solo parts and all their dance moves when it was your time to shine. I mean, Paulette was fun to be too, but come on. I want a cool rider.
I know. And I pretty much never got to be Stephanie unless I was watching it by myself. So
Right.
sometimes I did.
Oh, man.
So that my star could shine bright for myself at least.
I'm glad we could leave you home alone sometimes to get your claim to fame.
Yes. But do you remember how mad we would get at each other, though, if, say, you were being Stephanie and I attempted to sing Cool Rider? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Or T would get really mad because she usually got to be Stephanie. And we're like, we just want to sing in part of that song, man.
You know, Stephanie had all the good songs.
I know. Dang it.
Yeah. So I found out about Grease 1 when our sister-in-law introduced it to me. I was in my early teens, and she asked if I wanted to watch Grease. And of course, I did. So imagine my shock. I was so shocked and disappointed when it wasn't Stephanie and Michael, and instead it was Danny and Sandy. I didn't even know what to think.
Yeah. This is the worst movie ever.
Danny wasn't even a cool rider. He didn't have a motorcycle.
No. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. What a horrible disappointment that would have been, though. Like, you want to watch Grease? Heck yeah, I'm in. And someone puts on Grease 1. Oh my gosh. Like, just don't invite me over for that. Come on.
Yeah, it's like I thought she put the wrong movie on. I was like, I don't think this is Grease. And she says, yeah, it is. And I was like, no. And I start describing Grease 2 to her. And she's like, you're talking about Grease 2? I was like, I don't know. I thought that was just Grease.
It's funny to this day how many people think you're either in one side or the other. I've noticed in people in my life, they either love Grease 1 and hate Grease 2, or loved Grease 2 and hate Grease 1. But most people tend to like Grease 1. Whatever. I just don't think they got the joy of Grease 2 first. And if they had, they would understand how much 1 sucks.
No. Well, and I don't hate Grease 1. It's just, I mean, if I'm given the preference, I'm definitely watching Grease 2.
I would never choose to watch Grease 1. I mean, I
Yeah,
have
it's not
watched
a-
it, obviously, to know what it's about. No, it's not that good to me. But again, biased opinion based on how we grew up. So,
It's true.
yeah. It was, oh, dude, Cocktail. Needless to say, I was a huge Tom Cruise fan at this point in my life. I could not get enough of him. And Cocktails and Dreams. Oh, man. I loved Cocktail. I was so sure I was going to be an island bartender someday. We also had that random privilege of having a bar in our house.
Yes. Yes, because our parents, they owned a restaurant. And so the front part of our house was the restaurant. And then the back part of the house was where we lived. And in the restaurant, we had a bar. It was supposed to be a breakfast bar, you know? But,
Right.
but whenever the restaurant was closed, we could use it for whatever we wanted. And so Charlie's favorite thing to do was to jump off the bar and just yell, "The bar's open!"
I wanted to be able to slide a cocktail down the bar for you to catch, too.
Oh, we did practice that quite a bit. Yes.
Yes.
I, on the other hand, I just wanted to be Jordan in that movie, you know? Knocked up by some guy with a really cute smile. Ooh, my first marriage is making a lot of sense right now.
You made your dreams come true.
I did.
Oh, man. You're like, wait a second.
That cute smile's not going to work on me this time.
I'm not so easily swayed.
Oh, man. Oh, and then also there was the Goonies.
Oh, yes. That was so good.
Yeah, I loved it. I really thought that we were going to become, treasure hunters and that we were going to find treasure at some point in our lives.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you remember? So we lived in a very small town and there was a lot of abandoned buildings. And so we would kind of like go explore through them. And do you remember those little tokens that we found in that abandoned building on the square for the
Oh,
skating
yes.
rink?
Yes. We thought those tokens were going to lead to a huge treasure for us.
We did.
And only to find out the building used to be a skating rink and they were like tokens to get in and out or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It wasn't the gold that we thought it was.
No, but we thought that, was it like I think there was letters on them. And we thought the letters were going to lead us to some cryptic message.
We did.
So they're like, that was a skating rink. Those were tokens. Like, oh, well, that's boring. Dang it. Oh, man. I'll
But
tell
we
you,
did just
moving
keep
to
going.
we did. We just kept seeing how many of them we could. Because I think at one point we were going to try to gather all of them, like 1 through 100 or whatever it was, and see if we could. I don't know what we thought we were going to do with them.
You don't know.
Oh, so there's like our core childhood ones, right? And you move into our teenage years, man, we watched The Sandlot and Empire Records all the time. Benny the Jet, Wendy Peppercorn, oh, Empire Records, like, oh, it's Rex Manning Day. Oh, Rexy, you're so sexy.
Sexy Rexy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Great movies.
I also want to say, I was laughing at a movie that Big J and I were watching the other night because it was about the moon landing. And a few times in that movie, they said things like, Houston, it's all yours. And obviously, they're referring to the city, right? And it's the space center. However, I can recall, when we were younger and hearing randomly Houston being mentioned in movies, and I was really so confused by why our family was so famous.
Oh. And the amount of times in our life I've heard, Houston, we have a problem. I'm like, yeah, okay. It's fallen flat. I've heard it way too many times.
Yeah, people do think they're so original when they say that to you.
Yes. That they do.
I'm like, yes, I'm sure we do. Don't worry, Houston can handle it.
Mm-hmm. Houston's got the problem under control.
Oh, my goodness. But yeah, and I would say with Empire Records also, do you remember that soundtrack?
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of with the Cranberries and what was the other? I can't think of the other. There's a couple of songs on there I loved. Oh, Sugar High.
Yes.
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 Gotta have it. Really need it.
Oh man. Yeah, that was. They had really good music to that one.
They did. It's funny you mentioned music because I noticed so far in all of our episodes, I somehow sing a line from a movie at some point. I'm like, is this a thing I do? And I'm like, this is weird that I keep doing it, but I've noticed it. I'm like, oh, I sing a little line from every movie, but the soundtracks, man, they made the movies, right?
The soundtracks, yes.
Oh, Dazed and Confused.
Oh, all right.
I think that's when we all fell in love with Matthew McConaughey's voice. It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I was just gonna bring up The Little Mermaid because you said it in our last episode. And do you remember playing in the bathtub like we were the Little Mermaid?
No.
Splashing up off the rock.
The back of the bathtub, yes. Love The Little Mermaid. And Lion King obviously was really good too.
Oh man, I acted that thing out so many times.
The Lion King?
Yes.
Well, holding him up when he was holding Simba up to the thing or whatever?
Yeah, just different things. And what's funny is my granddaughter, she loved The Lion King, and I could act it out with her a couple times, when she was really obsessed with it. Yeah, she liked to be Mufasa, and I was always Scar, and so she would kill me.
Oh. Great.
Yeah.
But she was impressed with your knowledge, though.
She was. She liked it.
Yeah, I bet.
But also, here's a theory, though. I think if you don't watch a movie during a certain time period of your life, you're not going to get the full effect of the movie. So, for example, for me, I would say The Breakfast Club is one of my biggest ones where I didn't watch it until I was in my 30s, and I watched it as part of an assignment for a pop culture class I was doing. And I was pretty excited because I'd heard so many great things about the movie. But then I watched it and I thought, this is just trash.
I mean, I think there's a lot to that because I kind of remember The Breakfast Club. I think I watched it in high school, but it was never one that stuck with me. But the imagery, right, on these movies has gotten so much better. So if you go back now and look at a movie, it's like bad because it's so hard to get into it because the imagery is so bad on it. And so maybe you can't connect with it as much. Plus, also, with the time it came out, since it doesn't apply to today's society, you watch that and think, there's no way that would be happening now. Like some of those, I'm trying to think of an example of one, but if you watch high school movies now,
Right.
there's no lockers in the hallway. I don't think there's really, I don't want to say there's not bullies by any means, but it's not like, oh, that one bad guy that picks on the one nerdy kid. Like, that is not people's high school experience anymore.
Oh, definitely not.
So, yeah, so that stuff didn't like age well, right? Because it has just changed. Society has changed since then.
Yes. And, though, I will say also, as you age yourself, like, okay, as much as I can tell you, I love Dirty Dancing and I was in love with Johnny. If I watch it now, I totally understand Baby's dad.
Oh, I know.
I'm
like,
like,
what are you thinking?
His daughter.
She is 16, you old nasty guy.
She was 18. She was about to go to college.
Was she 18? Was she? Okay, well, I thought she was younger. But I don't know what age they portrayed him in that movie, but
I don't know.
At least like 30. Also, just saying, like, obviously I'm not a guy, but I think back to Cocktail. When have you ever met some guy who fell in love with some rich girl and her dad really offered money to leave her alone? Like, that is not a real thing. Like,
Yeah, I don't think
I think
that's
that
real
ever
at all.
happens. So, I would totally try to fall in love with some rich guy and see if his daddy wants to pay me off to leave him alone.
Maybe we should put that
Like,
practice into theory. Or that theory into practice.
I think at this point in my life, it'd be more the rich guy paying me to leave him alone.
I'm just looking for a sugar daddy.
The parents are in their like 70s by now. I should have tried this at a younger age. Dang it.
Oh my goodness. But and I know that we joke a little bit about it, but the way that you get sucked into a movie and it makes us, sometimes laugh at how our lives might have been influenced by them, such as, like Stephanie working at a gas station. And I did at one point work on cars, though I never really could like pull off the jumpsuit like she did, like the mechanic jumpsuit. She looked hot.
Did you try? She did look hot in it. Did you even try?
I didn't get a jumpsuit, but my mechanic uniform was not cute at all. I'm talking pleated shorts.
No. Yeah. Maybe you should have tried to get your own pair of overalls, get them tailored. You could have made this work. Maybe you didn't try hard enough.
You know what? I'm going to take that into advice. I'll try to get me some overalls.
Yeah. For the next time you got to change your car battery.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, hey, I became a bartender. Sadly, though, in real life, I've never once jumped off the bar and yelled, "The bar is open."
Why not?
Maybe, I think at this point, I would most likely just hurt myself on the landing, and it would probably be a shit show. At 5 o'clock at night, at shift change, all the customers and be like, "Charlie, we've been here for hours. We know."
The bar's been open for a while now.
Yeah.
Do you ever try to slide the drink down the bar?
No. Never. Now that I've worked in the business long enough, I would never try that because a lot of patrons would not probably catch on to what was happening. And also, the old bar top had it was tiles. So I could have seen the drink getting stuck in a tile, spilling over, glasses everywhere. Now I got to clean it all up. And I just gave myself an extra 20 minutes of work trying to be cool.
Oh, man. Or the attraction of bad boys. I mean, come on. Maverick and Johnny, they were just our big movie crushes at the time. And then plus Michael, he had to turn into a bad boy in order for Stephanie to even give him the time of day.
Right? Yes, media in general gives us a romanticized idea of life. And I have yet to meet a bad boy that turns out to be not a bad boy and turns all around for the girl he loves. I've tried that in real life and have a divorce to prove it doesn't work.
Yes. Well, I have met a smooth talker with a killer smile that got me knocked up, so.
Right?
The movie, though, it doesn't really show Jordan and Brian 5 years down the road with 2 kids and bills that need to be paid, while Brian spends all his time down at the bar, probably still taking home girls after last call. I mean,
For sure. And no, I'm thinking like in Top Gun, like they always come back and find you right where you left them. Like that does not happen. Movies do obviously take and show you the romanticized side of life. And in all reality, like you said, it's bills need to get paid or you got to go to work on a daily basis and no one's showing up at your work and you just jump off and jump on the back of their motorcycle and leave and still have a job to go back to.
yeah,
Like,
that's definitely not happening. I tried it one
yeah,
time. I got fired.
maybe if your overalls had fit better, they would have kept you on.
Maybe so.
But yeah, movies definitely. It's almost like they say about social media, if you will. People only put the good on there, and granted, movies are made to make us feel good, and sometimes teach us a lesson. Obviously, with like the younger movies with Disney and stuff like that, or Pixar and whatever all they have out now, like they're good to teach you lessons and make you feel good. And I was just this like talking today about this has made me crack up so much. Like remembering all those times in our childhood, or like you said, the soundtrack. I have a friend. It was barely 3 months ago. Just sent me a clip of a song. I was like, why? Why is this person sending this to me? And I listened, and I immediately was like, "Oh, Rexy, you're so sexy." And he's like, "You're the only person who would have gotten that with me." I'm like, "I know, man. Like, I got you." Because I did not grow up with this guy. I met him way later in life. And yet we know that, oh, we both love Empire Records. It's a great movie. So, they can still connect you with people too, sometimes like that love of a movie. And
Yes.
I got to tell you this funny story. One time, speaking of Grease too, and I'm working at the restaurant one day, and I'm in the back with the kitchen manager, and I don't know what came up about movies, but something came up about Grease. And I was like, man, Grease 2, that's where it's at. And he turns around and he goes, are you kidding me? And I immediately was like, this guy is going to spout off about Grease 1. But I just said, no, man, I'm not kidding. Grease 2 is where it's at. He goes, dude, I know. And I was like, I want a cool rider. And he immediately starts singing it with me. And we go into this. It was like out of a freaking movie. Him and I are both like doing a whole little line of the song. And he's like, I thought you might have been kidding. I said, I thought you were kidding. And to this day, if I don't watch Grease 2 all the time, but when I do, I hit him up, right? Like, dude, Cool Rider's coming on and watching Grease 2. Like, it can connect you, right?
It definitely can. I mean, I know, like, in one of my first conversations with Big J, he mentioned that he used to fly planes in the Navy. And that was an immediate, hey, buddy.
Let me see that smile and we'll talk.
Panties dropped.
Yeah. For real.
Say less.
It's like, to this day, that would totally still get me as well. I'd be like, what? Do you have some pictures? Do you love playing volleyball in the sand?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, so, I think it's just as much as we can enjoy the fun parts and things like that, it's just important to remember that, movies, they're good for connecting with people, but don't try to base your life off of them or think that that's how it's really going to play out in real life.
Yes, that is not real life. I will say our lesson learned and growth earned on this. Movies can bring us a sense of comfort or make us laugh on a bad day or just smile at our memories from the first times of watching them. So go ahead, fire up your old VCR. Just kidding. Most of the oldies but goodies can be found on a streaming service by now. But go ahead and fire up an old favorite today and relish those memories it brings with it. And it's also good to remember that movies and shows just show the parts that get us hooked. They do not show the harsh realities of life. So don't get too caught up in thinking that your relationship might have lost that love and feeling just because he hasn't wooed you at a karaoke bar.
Yes. And in our next episode, we'll explore social rules for re-entering the dating scene. You're going to get our hot take on that. Thanks for listening. Until next time, go out there and be your favorite self.
And if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss in a future episode, send us an email at adulthoodisaproject@gmail.com. And make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite listening platform to catch our future episodes.